Okay, thank you everyone for joining the October rendition of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. My name is Amaya Aquili. I am stepping in wearing multiple hats here as for the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. And we can start with introducing everyone, doing a little popcorn. I'll start with myself yet again. My name is Amaya Aquili. I am the Sustainable Procurement Specialist with the Office of Management and Budget for the City of Pittsburgh, and I will popcorn to Lissa.
Hi, I'm Lissa. I am the program director with Allegheny Cleanways and one of the new real members of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. I will popcorn to Anna.
Good morning, I'm Anna Bagwell. I'm the Environmental Enforcement Coordinator with Department of Public Works Environmental Services, and I will popcorn to Larson.
Hi, I'm Larson. I'm the Recycling Coordinator with Pennsylvania Resources Council, and I will popcorn to Josh.
Josh Schooneman. I'm the Collection Events Manager at Pennsylvania Resources Council, and I'm also an official member of this committee. Very excited for my first formal meeting, and I will popcorn.
You're a little muted there. I didn't hear anything from you, Josh.
Anything now?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
My name is Joshua Schooneman. I'm the Collection Events Manager at Pennsylvania Resources Council. We work with the city of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County to provide all kinds of cool collection services to residents and small businesses. And I will popcorn over to Aaron Tobin.
Hey everybody, Josh. I don't have a voice today. Aaron Tobin with the Parks Conservancy. I'm gonna be off screen mostly. Popcorn. Oh gosh. 80.
I'll go ahead and popcorn to Debbie.
Hello, Debbie Steinberg, Green Practices Manager with Carnegie Mellon University. And I was taking notes, so Emily, I don't think you've gone yet.
Yes. We can go to Katie Weddick.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie Weddick. I'm the Senior Right-of-Way Manager with DOMI and also a new member. Excited to be here. And I'm not sure who has not gone yet.
Kelsey.
Hi everyone, Kelsey Ripper, Executive Director at Friends of the Riverfront and Commission member. And I'll go to Sanjeev.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sanjeev Manandar. I'm Environmental Sustainability Manager with Pittsburgh Public Schools. I'll go over to Solomon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Solomon Armstead. I am the Community Affairs and Violence Prevention Supervisor for the City of Pittsburgh.
That's who else has not? Emily, yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Embry. I'll be presenting to you all today. I'm a hopeful member of the Clean Commission, and I am the Safer Together Coordinator for Police Zone 5 with the Department of Public Safety.
Awesome. And then Afton.
Hi, my name is Afton. I am the treasurer or co-treasurer for the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. I live in Homewood, and I am the principal planner of sustainability and resilience.
Awesome. I think that's everyone. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. And I will do a little quick reading of our mission. Excuse me. I will just say this one line. One of the tenets of our mission as a commission is to coordinate and work with local volunteer organizations and groups to support neighborhood cleanups and going forward to use funds to address neighborhood problems at a citywide basis. So something that we are trying to do here as a commission. And I will go forth with sharing. I don't know if everyone has a chance to look at the agenda that I sent through yesterday, but I will go ahead and share my screen of the agenda here. A lot is happening. Um, just an idea of what we are doing today. Also, we don't have necessarily minutes from our last meeting as we are in a state of flux and trying to get everything reorganized. But today, thankfully, Debbie Steinberg, thank you so much for volunteering to take notes for today's meeting. And then hopefully at our next meeting, we'll be able to approve this month's meeting notes. But yeah, go ahead and take a look through our agenda, and I am looking for a motion to approve the meeting notes or the agenda for today. Anyone?
I can move to approve, Kelsey.
Thank you, Kelsey. And me a second.
Second, Sanjeev.
Thank you, Sanjeev. And I guess if you approve, just raise your hand or say aye. Thank you so much, everyone. Just going to go ahead and move. It's probably be a short meeting today, but we do have some great great presenter here from the Department of Public Safety, Emily Embry. She is the Safer Together project coordinator for Zone 5, and she will be speaking on some of the stuff that she does in her work. As we know, there is a very tight connection between blight and litter and feeling safer in your communities and health of communities. So we're hoping to have her join on as a commission member from the Public Safety department, but she's very graciously offered to speak on the work that she does as a member of that department. Emily, do you have the ability to, do you have a presentation? Sorry, do I need to give you screen sharing? Or do you have there's the green box, that's what we're looking for, yes.
I do have the green box, yeah.
Okay, all right, so I will stop sharing my screen and you can go ahead and start sharing your screen and I will give you the floor.
Awesome, thank you. Let me pull this up. I haven't used Zoom in a minute here, so just bear with me.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, Teams is the way that we've been going.
Can you guys see it now?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Let's get in presentation mode here. My name is Emily Embry. One of the things that I have been trained in my work is crime prevention through environmental design. And what that does is we look at the way our built environment impacts actual and perceived safety. One thing we know, especially looking at violence prevention through a public health model, is that just feeling unsafe in your community or where you work or where you're going to socialize has a negative impact on our health. And it can create scenarios where eventually it becomes less safe. Sorry, my cat wants to get in on the presentation. I don't know if you can see my camera. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about CPTED, as we call it, Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design, and how that relates to the Clean Commission. I gave this presentation a few years ago, and I think there's a lot of new faces on the commission, so I thought this was a good chance to let you all know kind of the overlap in what I do and what you all do. And maybe from there we can get some ideas of how we can work together to tackle some of these more systemic safety-related issues. So what is CPTED? I mean, we've kind of already talked about it. It stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. And it's a crime prevention tool that utilizes specific methods in the built environment to reduce both the incidence and the fear of crime in an area. So it's a form of natural crime prevention. And what that means is that we use the natural design of the environment as a means to control the use of an area for what we call a normal user's safety. And I'll kind of go into normal users versus abnormal users in a minute here. There are other methods of crime prevention. There's organizational, which is a method of crime prevention that involves organized groups of people. So that could look like a local block watch. Here in Pittsburgh, every police zone has a resident-led zone safety council, which those of us in my role work directly with. So that would be another example. And also our police force. The third method is mechanical. And mechanical methods of crime prevention include the use of technology, which can be modern or what we consider primitive, things like fences, window bars, whereas security cameras are more modern technology. I lost my little click through. There we go. So the goal of SEPTED is we want to make a place both feel safer and actually be safer. We use natural elements, things like landscaping, lighting, all of these things we might not think about in the forefront of our mind when we're designing spaces, but subconsciously and sometimes, very overtly, they make a place feel more or less hospitable. And we want it to feel hospitable for our normal users and unwelcoming for our abnormal users. So our normal users in SEPTED are people that the space is intended for. So if we look at a local playground, that's going to be children, their caregivers, maybe neighbors who are there to play. I like to go to the playground down the street from my house and hit the swing set. That doesn't make me an abnormal user just because it's designed for children. So the goal with, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. And then the abnormal users is the opposite, basically. It's people who are in an area to participate in uses other than the intended use of the area. Sometimes their reasons are mischievous. At the playground by my house, we sometimes at night have people who go play card games and just drink beer. They just want an open space to do it. It's not really nefarious, but it can cause problems, and they do tend to leave litter. We can also have people with nefarious intentions, like this creepy guy here with the binoculars who might be up to no good. So in SEPTED, we have 4 different elements that are what we look at as kind of the pillars of creating effective crime prevention using the built environment. These strategies are often free or very low monetary investment. The thing that they often do require is time and care. The first one is natural surveillance. If any of you are familiar with Jane Jacobs, who is a community activist, this is kind of based on her eyes on the street model. And what we've learned through human psychology is that when there are more people around and using an area, when there are people who are watching what's going on at any given time, and especially throughout the entire time of day, the area becomes unwelcome to crime because there's so many potential witnesses. This is even true of just the human form. It doesn't have to be an actual person. So, for example, my neighbors across the street have this Halloween decoration of like a, Grim Reaper guy with a candy dish. And every time I look out my window for a split second, I think it's a person, right? So just even subconsciously when we see the human form, sometimes we do feel that, not necessarily in a bad way, but like we're being watched or like there's someone else around. Another great example of SEPTED at use using the human form. Anyone who's driven down Penn Avenue going inbound through Garfield, you've seen the Bride of Penn Avenue. It's a huge mural that was painted, I want to say the early 2000s. And, it's a great example of the human form. It's not to scale or anything like that, but it still does kind of give us subconsciously that feeling of someone else is around and, looking out onto the world. We also have maintenance. This is a really simple, not always easy, but a simple tool. And regular maintenance of a property or a block sends the message that someone's paying attention, they're caring for this place and noticing what's going on regularly. You might have heard this described as the broken window theory. If it looks like no one is taking care of a place, that sends the message that it's okay for other people to not take care of the place. And again, a lot of these are really just like using human psychology along with the built environment to, make places a little safer. So territorial reinforcement, this is things like fences, border gardens, and visual markers of a territory. And these send a clear message about what are the boundaries of public space versus private space. There's sometimes, if you have like a little walkway to your house, that's kind of like this in-between area, right? Where it's like the connector between your private space and the sidewalk that's public space. And this really helps to guide users and send a clear message. And then the last one is natural access control. And this works along with territorial reinforcement. So you're using similar design techniques. And through that, we can also help control the way that people move in and out through an area. So if you think about the city-county building, it's obvious that the portico is kind of where it becomes it's all public space with the city-county building, but where it changes from the building to the sidewalk, right? The portico is kind of that in-between space. And the way that the pillars are, really, if you watch the flow of how people come to the front of the building, they typically don't go up the stairs around where the statue is, because the statue kind of creates this like a funnel point. And so just the way that the front of the building is designed, it creates these natural flows of traffic. And that's what natural access control is. It might also look like having pavers of different colors if you have, say, like a garden park or something like that. So some more examples of what these things look like. Natural surveillance is creating environments that encourage neighborhoods to be looking around the area. So public art, murals, gardens hanging in your front porch, and saying hi to your neighbors. All these things are really great sources of natural surveillance. The city of Philadelphia has done an excellent job with their public art program. And there is a good amount of research there and in Melbourne, Australia, on how their public art programs have helped to reduce crime in the areas around where that takes place. I think that's pretty cool because it serves so many different purposes. And like I said before, even the illusion of the human form subconsciously gives us this impression of natural surveillance. So murals, having things painted in the window, all that stuff kind of gives that illusion. And the last thing, and this is what I like to talk to residents about, is leaving a porch light on that has an appropriate color temperature and brightness. This can allow you to be seen. It can allow you to see abnormal users better. One thing we don't think about a lot with lighting is the color temperature, which is how blue or yellow a light is. You're going to get a lot better visual rendering of what's going on if you have a brighter, more like white, true colored light than a yellow light. It helps you to be a better witness. It helps you to get a better sense of, kind of what you saw in the event that you need to recount that. Territorial reinforcement. So planting a row of flowers or small shrubs where your property line meets the public space. Maybe adding short garden fencing is a great way to indicate, hey, this is private, maybe not the place for you to let your dog do its business or to come rummage through the yard. Private walkways and driveways connecting your home to the public right-of-way serve as a transition area. And architectural elements such as arched trellises, overhangings signal the transition to private space and guide visitors to the desired area. For maintenance, things like changing your light bulbs as soon as they burn out. It's another thing I recommend to residents. Always have an extra light bulb on hand for your porch light. If you're not able to access it yourself, make sure that you have a neighbor or a friend or a relative that you can ask to repair it so you're not waiting months and months to have your light bulb fixed. Replacing broken walkways and fences and windows as soon as possible. This is one of the more costly examples of SEPTED. But even temporary repairs show others that someone cares and is paying attention. One of my favorite examples of this, for anyone who's been in the city for 20 or so years, there was a program, I think it might have been through the Sprout Fund, where they painted all the Andy Warhol flowers on plywood and boarded up windows of abandoned houses with that. You could see a lot of it in the Hill, like when you were coming down from the south side around there. And it was a really great way to just show that, like, hey, nobody lives here, but someone's still taking some amount of care of this space and paying attention to what's going on here. And then trimming and maintaining your hedges and trees. This is one that's really good for safety for a number of reasons, not just that it shows maintenance, but you want to keep the bottom 12 inches of taller hedges trimmed. And this prevents people from being able to hide behind them and create ambush points because you're able to see their feet, right? They're not going to just like float in the air. So you can kind of see if somebody is hiding behind a tall hedge. And with trees, you want to have the bottom part of the canopy be no shorter than 6 feet because it's a safety thing. You don't want people running into the trees. But again, it just creates a more open visual space to be able to see potential ambush points. Natural access control is things like using ground level lighting to indicate where the walking path is. Like I said before, different colored pavers can indicate different walkways or usage areas. And then also using bushes and shrubs and what I love, that we call hostile vegetation. That's like, things, thorny bushes like roses can help to deny access to certain areas of a property. When you pair the natural access control methods like landscaping with physical access control methods like fences, it really helps to give people an idea of how they're intended to navigate the space and to control how people move through the space. And then lighting, I touched on a little bit already. Lighting is, again, it's really important and something we don't always think about. So we want to make sure that we're using the right color of lighting to get the best color rendering. We also want to try and use LED lights whenever possible because that helps with maintenance. It also helps with our energy costs, but it reduces the opportunity to have to replace light bulbs more frequently. And you want to make sure that the lighting is dispersed evenly as well. Because what happens is if you have light posts that are too far apart, you're having areas that are illuminated and then areas in between those where the light throws that are not. And that creates a higher contrast visually between a brighter area and a darker area, which again can create ambush points and just other like unsafe kind of areas of like walkway, right? If you can't see exactly where it is. And then you want to choose lighting housing that directs the light to only where you want it. So for example, if we have some up lighting and we're trying to illuminate a walkway, you would want it to just kind of shine around the sides so that it's just illuminating the walkway and not necessarily right up into somebody's window. But for like, you look at our street lights and they shine the light directly down because that's what we're trying to illuminate is the street and the sidewalk. And the last thing is landscaping tips. Landscaping should allow for an open line of sight and it should limit hiding areas. You want your fencing to be see-through to reduce any potential ambush points, especially like in the front of your house, places like parks and things like that where a lot of people are going. You really want to be able to see what's going on. Fencing is not, we're not using privacy fencing for those kinds of situations. And then the last thing, again, is hostile vegetation, which helps to protect your windows if you put them at the base of your windows and things like that. So before I go into just my next brief points, let me get out of the screen share here. Can you guys see me?
You're no longer sharing your screen, so.
Awesome, thanks. I wanted to see if anybody has questions. I know I kind of just like pushed through that, but does anybody have any questions? Pretty straightforward.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a question on behalf of Aaron Toad, who, as we previously heard, is not in the best speaking condition right now. I'm sorry. The question is there an opportunity to work with the Roots team or public safety to get sharp painters in public spaces and parks? This is something that community members have asked. And it would all help when we were doing.
You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if that's on my end or yours, but what was the question to get what?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The question is there an opportunity to work with the Roots team or public safety to get sharps containers in public spaces like parks? This is something that community members have asked for and would help when they are doing litter pickups in those spaces.
That's a great question. I think that that would be something more with the Office of Community Health and Safety, which is where the Roots team is housed. And I can see who the right contact person would be, Aaron, and I can reach out to you with who that person would be to see what that would look like. Any other questions about SEPTED? I'm going to talk for just a minute about how this relates to litter, if there's no more questions about the presentation. Good? Awesome. All right, let me pull up my other window here. All right, so there have been a number of studies that have shown directly how remediating lots, which includes picking up litter and addressing blight, helps to reduce violent crime specifically in a lot of areas. One of the first studies that I saw that really piqued my interest in SEPTED and how it might look in Pittsburgh was done in Philadelphia over 10 years. And what they found in that study, I've kind of just highlighted, this is from the NIH. This is just like an overview of a few different studies. But what they found in Philadelphia was there was a consistent reduction in assaults, gun robberies, and disorderly conduct associated with remediating vacant lots. It was a pretty staggering statistic when it came to assaults and gun assaults. I don't remember the exact, I want to say it was like around a 20% reduction, which is pretty significant. And all of that was just making sure that the litter was cleaned up, making sure that lawns were mowed, and that things like broken windows were boarded up and properties were secured on the lots that had vacant properties. And they utilized both the city and the court system to make sure that lots were effectively remediated so that they could get the results of the study. And then they also had nearby lots that they didn't remediate as their control. They also did a vacant lot remediation program in Youngstown and found significantly greater reductions in felony assault, robbery, and theft around the lots that were remediated compared to those that remained vacant and disorderly. That was a 2016 study. In 2018, there was they examined vacant lot cleaning and greening programs in Flint, where community members received funding for mowing, weeding, and trash removal of vacant lots. The program was associated with significantly fewer assaults and violent crimes when compared to streets with lots that were not enrolled in the program. A couple studies analyzed the effects of New Orleans' Fight the Blight program, which removed debris and vegetation from vacant lots. And while they found no differences between remediated and controlled lots in the level of violent, property, and domestic crimes, the number of drug crimes per square mile decreased significantly. And the study notes that the limited reductions in crime could be due to New Orleans' climate and vulnerability to natural events, which likely helps regenerate physical disorder at the lot location. I thought that was interesting, that as an outlier, they still had kind of an idea of why in New Orleans violent crime wasn't impacted by remediating lots. And then there was also studies that examine what happened with abandoned housing. But really, I wanted to just kind of touch on some studies that have been done in cities not that different from Pittsburgh, and just that focused on remediating vacant lots, including cleaning up trash and litter. So this is kind of a high-level overview of the way that my work in neighborhoods can impact the work that you guys do with the Clean Commission. I see a lot of opportunity working with your different organizations on small projects, and maybe even, in the future being able to do a study of our own in Pittsburgh that could help us to, potentially get some more long-term funding for changes like this, or changing structures within city and county governments is kind of my dream with utilizing my knowledge. So I thank you for letting me present all of this to you guys. Does anyone have any other questions for me? Katie?
Hey, thank you. I'm familiar with SEPTED, and I think this is a great presentation, and I think there's definitely a lot of good pieces of SEPTED, but I know there's also been some concerns with, I don't know the terms you used, but kind of the desirable versus the undesirable, with challenges, like if it's a predominantly white neighborhood and you have a person of color walking through the street. So is there kind of any thought about how to address some of those issues that come along with SEPTED?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And that's something that I think about a lot too, right? I mean, it comes up a lot when we talk about like the unhoused population and the way that maybe park benches are designed to specifically make it unhospitable, or like downtown, how they put mountains of giant rocks where people had camps. Those are examples of SEPTED. Those are examples of SEPTED being used in the way that you described. And ultimately, these things are all tools. So what it comes to when we look at how we utilize these tools and how these tools might impact certain populations differently than others, which is not, the goal is to impact everybody positively and equally, right? So it comes down to the people who are utilizing the tools and the policies that we set around how to utilize the tools. One thing that I really liked when we were doing introductions was seeing how everybody is coming from different backgrounds of work. And I think that's really important, having a team that is diverse across multiple spectrums to be able to get all different kinds of insight as to how tools might impact different populations that are, other than the population you come from. So that's kind of how I look at it, is just before implementing any of this stuff, you really have to talk to the people who you would consider the normal users and see what things, you're proposing that they might say, actually, that's a negative impact. That's not something we want. I mean, I personally always believe in community involvement. As somebody who does community outreach, like, that's where I think you're getting your best data. If you want to best serve people, you've got to ask them first, right? So that would be my answer to it. It might not be the answer of people who are giving out money, but as someone who's just looking at implementation, like, that's how I would look at implementation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? No? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for letting me present to you all today. I am hopeful to join you in what you do. It's something I am passionate about, and the neighborhoods that I work in are really heavily impacted by blight and litter over on the east end of the city. So I have neighborhoods like East Hills, Homewood, Lincoln, Leamington, Larimer. I live in Garfield, where we're kind of on the tail end of dealing with blight. So I really am passionate about how do we all work together to kind of diminish these impacts for everybody in a way that doesn't push people out of their neighborhoods and makes them feel safe where they live. Amaye?
Yeah, my question is, so you're with Zone 5. Are there other people like yourself in other zones as well?
Yeah, so every police zone has a Safer Together coordinator. I'm the only person who is certified in SEPTED. This is something I did in 2019. I was still with the Office of Nighttime Economy when I was introduced to this concept. And the department sent me to Las Vegas Police Headquarters, and I did a week-long training. And then I've since done a couple other trainings to expand my SEPTED knowledge. But it's certainly something that I can work with my other colleagues in other zones with too. So if there's areas that you want to focus on that are not in Zone 5, I can work with the coordinator there to kind of get them on the same page and assist everybody too.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for that insightful information. I like the mention of, like eyes on the street. These are like, things that people learn in city planning and just like learning about like community development in general. So it's like, it's good to see a good, collaboration across all these different fields and like trying to keep our communities safe and healthy for the people that live within them and also people who visit them as well. So, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, no, and Alyssa and I have, forwarded you the information to get you started in the process of joining the commission. So let us know if you have any issues with that. But we really appreciate your insight and coming with your education and to help us improve how we impact communities and spend our time and funds to make the city better in general. And that's all we really want to do. So yeah, thank you. Please do stay on for the rest of our meeting just to see how things go on, mute your camera if you want. But let me look at the agenda. So next we have member reauthorization. So Kelsey and I have been working on making sure we have a robust cohort of members for the commission, and things that have fallen by the wayside. We've worked on making sure everyone is authorized as a member. There was an authorization that happened in the last 2 weeks. And I was watching the council session and I saw Afton in the background, but it became clear to me that not everyone was aware of that process happening. But if you are able to pull up the agenda, there's a list of names of people who were authorized on the 1st of October. We have Lissa, Afton, Helena, Larson, Joshua, and Katie. So we are up to, I think it was 8, or I can't remember, but we have a spreadsheet where we're tracking our numbers. So we're up to a number that we can actually vote on things, and 8 or 10. You have fingers up. Okay, 9. Great.
Yeah, 9. I could also just come off mute, but yes, 9.
Yeah, go ahead. So yeah, 9 members, great. Out of 9, I think we could have 18 in total, but we do have people who are interested. We just have to get them back on to being official members. And I really want to say thank you to Kelsey for helping pull that together, organizing it. Do you have anything to say about this, Kelsey?
I don't think so. I guess so the people who just got reauthorized, did you know, were you asked to come to council? No. Okay. All right. Well, made it easier, I guess. But
yeah, I was not asked to come to council, so hooray.
It seems like it was a pretty, they just read names, and there was also a name from the planning commission that was up there. They just read names and they just said yes, which was different from my experience where I actually had to go sit in front of council. So I guess things, it's also budget season. So who knows? So there's a lot of things happening that could have led to that being a little bit different this time.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of other names up for reauthorization, and hopefully I've been in conversation with the mayor's office to myself and Kelsey, just been trying to hammer it in, trying to make sure that we have people authorized. So up next we have Anna, myself, and oh shoot, I can't remember the other name.
And
Aaron Tobin. Great. All right. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I don't know if you'll hear from them, but I love watching council, so I will keep you guys updated on when the names come through. But yeah, so moving on from there, we have the finance committee. Afton, are you able to speak on that?
I sure am. Unfortunately, my camera is not working on my computer, and I don't have a supplemental one, so I can't show my lovely face. However, let me share my screen. Share screen. Share. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So thank you to everybody who submitted their invoices. All the ones that I've received have been paid. So city surveillance is paid. Allegheny Cleanways has been paid. Little League, it's actually split up into 2 separate ones for Friends of the Riverfront. I had to pay them as one invoice, but both the Little League and the Color Park, I believe, was also Friends of the Riverfront. Both of those were paid for a total of $5,000. And Humane Action for the bus ads, that's been paid as well. So for a total of $12,025. We still have a good bit of outstanding funding to spend. So we still have the PA Resource Councils for the neighborhood hard to recycle collection that we haven't paid yet or received invoices for Garbage Olympics, which I'm sure I'll probably be getting pretty soon because that just happened to my understanding, right? We just did
Yes,
Garbage Olympics. Okay.
there was a payment. I forwarded you the invoice and I will forward it
Oh,
again if you happen to miss it. We PRC paid the food vendor and then
okay.
we're paying PRC. So
Okay.
this is it's not part of that $5,000, it's part of the $8,000 for Garbage Olympics, but
Okay.
I will make sure you have that so we can get that paid ASAP.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't see that one. Let's see, the reusable bags from Tobias. I did talk to Tobias and I did get some suggestions for reusable bags. I actually paid or I'm ordering the bags that he sent me through the the remaining USDA funding that I had. So that gives us an opportunity to get some swag, I think, for Clean Pittsburgh Commission, which I think is richly deserved. I still think that maybe we can get some additional bags. I think Bagu came across as a potential type of bag that we might be interested in, and maybe put some funds, Clean Pittsburgh Commission branding on it. I don't know if we have a logo anywhere that we could use, but we can get that spent still on reusable bags. And which I think goes really well with the garbage with the plastic bag ban. And I think that's it. Yeah. And even with all of these paid, we still have $3,475 outstanding, even if we paid everything that we have slated.
Okay. Josh or Larson, I mean, more or less Josh, I guess, or Larson, who has a better mic, right? To speak on this. Is there any update on the progress in paying for hard to recycle events?
In the allotted fund here? I'm sorry, the audio kind of broke up.
So we have $5,000 to spend towards hard to recycle. It looks like for specifically the Hill collection, but if there's any other, it has that. Can we receive an invoice from you at least before our next meeting?
Yeah, totally. And actually, that was something I wanted to speak about during this section. Originally, we slotted this for a potential collection event in the Hill District. That is the neighborhood of focus. I think this is the second year now. And looking at the remaining time we have on our calendar, we will not be able to hold an actual collection event in the district. Logistically, be able to pull that off. And so we were pivot those funds and to instead provide vouchers for residents of the Hill District.
Okay.
Since that was a change in our original plan, we wanted to bring that to the committee and just run that idea in front of everybody before moving forward with that and submitting the invoice for that, since it is slightly different. I don't know if that came across. I just got a notice on my screen that said my connection is unstable.
Yeah. No, it's like I can hear you loud clearly, which is but some of that language was a little bit muddled. Muddled. If we can, I don't know, we'd like to use these funds. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, we would love to use these funds. Our original idea was to hold a collection on site in the Hill District. We're not able to do that with the remaining time in the calendar year. And so instead, we would like to do targeted advertising and deals towards Hill District residents and provide them with vouchers.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and Larson has a little bit more.
I can speak on that more because I know Josh's mic isn't that great right now. So basically what we were planning on doing, since we know that we won't have the incentive of being right there in the neighborhood and doing like 2 different e-waste collections, which would typically accommodate about 100 people, based on how we typically have those e-waste collections work. But what we're planning on doing with the 5,000 is offering a $50 discount through vouchers that would be distributed. Right now, the plan is paper distribution through community organizations and local churches. And having a $50 discount would allow up to 140 pounds for free. And that would be distributed and allow like 100 residents to come through and use that. And we're hoping that having that larger amount be totally free would allow a greater incentive for people to make their way to the strip district and have that service available to them.
Okay. That sounds great. I really love that. Could we, I'm not sure about rolling over funds specifically. If, do you think we would be able to get an invoice? Well, I don't know. Could you invoice that? so that we can pay? Or, where are you guys in that process?
We plan on doing this as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, so to my knowledge, and Josh can also correct me on this, but like we were planning on invoicing ASAP.
Okay. And after, okay, yeah, so our deadline is November 1st, coming up quick.
I know, right?
But we can can we squeeze something in by the next meeting, which is the second, my God, the second Thursday. Okay, yeah, just please. Do please get us an invoice so that we can allocate these funds. And I will send over the invoice for the Garbage Olympics to Acton. So
Okay,
I'll send that
that'd be
over
great.
again. Yeah, so I think this is great. Each year we are getting better and better at spending our money that we have worked so hard to get. So thank you guys for all the work that you guys continue to do in your organizations, and using this money intentionally to make our city a better place and a cleaner place. Is there anything else, Afton?
So you said the Garbage Olympics one, right, is also Pennsylvania Resources Council? I know
Yeah,
it's a separate
so
project.
it's a separate project, but yeah, it's as PRC is the fiscal sponsor for
Right,
the
right.
Garbage Olympics, it will be coming from them, but the money for our purposes is still being allocated towards the Garbage Olympics.
So we'll have to talk offline about that because that puts the total that we're giving to PA Resource Council over $5,000. And I don't know if I'm allowed to do it that way using my P card because I think I have a limit of $5,000 for one charge towards an organization for the entire year. But if there's I always forget for PA Resource Council I think there's a contract with them though, right? For the hard to recycle. So it might be different for them.
Yeah, so this is how we were able to do it last year, but yeah,
Okay.
we'll talk offline about that. And I
Yes.
know as being an OMB, sometimes like things can be split up, but we will talk about that
Okay.
in our next finance meeting or before then.
Because we might
if
not
it's
just
depending
use
on.
P card. We might just have to pay them for like a physical check or something like that. However, we pay through contracts, so we might be able to do it that way. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this finance update. I appreciate it.
Well, I was just
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, since this is probably just being very cautious, but because PRC is changing the scope of their recycling event I think, and because we have quorum and we're all here and they need to submit the invoice, I think we should just vote to approve the change for PRC. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I move to change to allow the change to PRC's request from the hard to recycle event to vouchers and advertising to with that there are vouchers. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Awesome.
Great. For $5,000.
Seconded.
Okay. Perfect. All in favor?
I'm in favor. Aye.
Okay.
Well, and I'm assuming that Josh and Larson are going to be
abstaining.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Perfect. I will be abstaining as well.
Katie.
Cool.
This is Afton. I vote yes.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kelsey, for bringing that back up again. Thank you.
If I don't have my video on, it's easier to hear me.
Say it again.
I asked if it was easier to hear me without my video on, but it sounds like it might not be.
No, we're good.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay. There was also some mention of remaining funds. Did I understand that correctly for the overall budget?
My God, your mic is if you could speak a little bit louder.
Sure. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we can't. We're doing our best.
I'm sorry. I'll send a follow-up email.
There we go. And we also do, yeah, that's great. That would be appreciated. Thank you so much, Josh. Onward. Um, uh, Member organization updates as time allows, and we have time. So if you're able to, well, I'll start first by giving an update on the Garbage Olympics. It went very well. We had a lot of volunteers. The winner this year was, oh man, I feel bad for not remembering. Um, I know Allentown came in second place this year. They almost won again. Um, but yeah, it was a great event at Bellum. Thank you for all that came out. Debbie, thank you. Kelsey, it was a great showing of camaraderie and competition, as our city is known for, and cleaning up the city. And we look forward to the next one. I should have more stats, but I just want to say it was a great event, and it was thankful for Bellum for hosting us, and Cold Friends Kitchen for providing the food for that event. And anyone else have any updates for their organization? Aaron.
Oh, no, Aaron, go ahead.
It was Mount Oliver was the winner. I know I
Mount
said
Oliver. Yes.
ridiculous. And I just want to say it was awesome. And if anybody wants to volunteer to be a part of the committee next year, let us know. We have
Please
a lot of fun. Thanks.
Thank you, Aaron. Oh, feel better. Kelsey?
Yeah, I thought I'd just give a quick update on the Color Park event since the CPC supported it financially, which we very much appreciated. So we had the event in a couple weeks ago in September, and the main event was on Saturday, the 19th, maybe. And it was great. We had beautiful weather. Lots of people came out. We added some new larger walls and commissioned 6 or 7 artists to do different types of murals and graffiti writing. So it's really cool. If you haven't seen it, definitely recommend going and checking out the Color Park on both sides of that island. So in the kind of parking lot-ish area and then along the trail. And then we had lots of people that just came, lots of kids and families, had free paint for people. People had a really good time. There's a DJ, food, and I think overall a successful event, very positive feedback. And the hope is that it will have set a kind of a precedent for artists and to come and be able to add their pieces and but also kind of have new spaces to present their artwork. And the artists have very graciously agreed to, be help to kind of monitor and lead those efforts. And so I think it was a good event overall, and just want to thank the CPC for the support there. So thanks.
I have an update. Next Saturday, Allegheny Cleanways is working with Pitt Civic Action Week to clean up the very large dump site that we've slowly been chipping away at on Gershon. That is in Spring Hill, and it's the road that had the landslide a while back. We started last spring. We made a pretty good dent, but there's still a lot, including the other half of the tanning bed that we pulled out the last time we were out there. So we would love to have everyone join us with a handful of Pitt students to keep pulling stuff out of there. If anyone wants to join, it's on our website.
Helena?
Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just want a brief update. I think the environmental services, I think we're leaning toward the whole election sign recycling is coming up. Woo! And I think logistically, we might ixnay the division component for election sign recycling, just so we don't have to, it's like coordinating all the volunteers and contamination in the bins. And I think it would be best if we had just like, the people of Pittsburgh, if they so desire, to come to environmental services with their corrugated plastic signs to recycle. We're going to put out, we're going to finalize this tomorrow when we have like the higher ups say, oh yes, that's a great idea. On Monday, this week, I sent an email blast to 52 neighborhoods to see their interest. And so far, 3 have said, hooray. So Elliott, Polish Hill, and Lawrenceville so far would love to do their own individual cleanups and then come to environmental services. So I put a deadline for the neighborhoods on October 18th to see, like next week, to see like how many neighborhoods want to do it. And so hopefully we get some positive traction with that. And so that's what the plan of action is regarding the election sign recycling as of right now. And so, because we want to offer it, and even if we don't, for whatever logistical reason, I did make sure that in my email to all those neighborhoods that the plastic bag signs can be recycled if they take the plastic bag off and send it to the grocery stores. So at least, we're coming up to that time. So that's kind of the update for the election sign, because we don't want to just say, nothing about it. But if we finalize our plan of action, just keep everybody in the loop. So just be checking your Facebook and your the press releases on what the final idea is. So that's it for now. And I've just been talking to community meetings. East Allegheny went well. Just educating people about proper recycling. The key is about no contamination in the blue bins. And on deck for this month is Southside Slopes and Friendship next week. Oh, and I've also got the ball rolling to kind of have like so far, I'm going to talk at the Hazelwood Library about illegal dumping, littering, and recycling with Anna. And so that's coming up in November. And so if that is all successful, then we'll reach out to the other libraries and get the ball rolling to kind of get younger demographics involved, as the Pittsburgh public school stuff is still like kind of up in the air with talks with them. But at least with the libraries, I could get some more, younger demographics. So that's all I got. And that's the update from environmental services.
Thank you so much, Helena. Erin?
Helena, can we connect on the neighborhood groups that you reached out to? Because I would think that Spring Hill, where I live, would want to do that in terms of the election sign recycling. And I quite a few community meetings myself, so I would love to connect with you on that communication.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like I said, we're finalizing everything tomorrow, and we're just trying to see like how many neighborhoods actually so that way we know the volume to expect coming into environmental services. And I know community organizations might take a while to check their emails. So if any of y'all have if you know the person in charge of your community organization, say, hey, you should email this lady back.
Yeah, I think I can help with some of that because I'm in pretty regular communication with a lot of those community groups, especially on the north side. So I'd love to connect.
Okay.
About that. Thank you.
A small follow-up question, Helena. Will it be at the actual 31st Street drop-off or at Environmental Services proper where you'll be collecting the materials?
As far as I can tell, it'll be at the same location where Larson and PRC do all the e-waste stuff. We'll have the Gaylord, the Gaylords inside the warehouse there for people to say, hey, I have some signs.
And you'll collect them in there. Okay.
Yeah, just so, or maybe we would I'm hesitant to put the Gaylords at the 31st Street drop off because contamination might happen. But if I have them in the warehouse, then I could quite easily control what goes in the bins. But yeah, like I said, we're just putting our feelers out there and see what the final decision is. But I think definitely just so that way, because I know, asking people to take time to check all the divisions and running around with their heads cut off for the whole month of November might be a little much. But yeah, so that's the scoop so far.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Are there any other member organizations who would like to share on anything that I have going on into this fall? Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I would like to, if someone could make a motion to end this meeting, and then we'll have a second.
I can make a motion now. So I make a motion to end.
Oh, thank you, Lissa. Who will second?
I second that motion.
Great. Thank you, Helena. Thank you again from everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you at the next meeting. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Elmo. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feel
Bye.
better. Bye. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.